Sports Card Army, bringing it back to you for the 1990 Topps search for the no-name Frank Thomas and for the George Bush card. Now, it's speculative that there was 400 of the Frank Thomas no-name cards made. Who knows if Topps did it intentionally on a no-name player? You know, Frank didn't actually get good until his third year of the season, or was it just surely by accident or manufacturer error? And then the other one, and I failed to mention this on my last video, but the George Bush card, in 1989, Arthur Shorin, the Topps president, issued in a binder 100 Bush cards to the White House. Now there was two versions of these. Those had a thick coating on those, and then later on, people at Topps, or I guess I should say collectors, started pulling some of these cards, and they did not have a thick coating on them. So there's two versions of this card. And of course, within the White House, some of those got sold off. Those are out there in circulation now. Also a good card to find. Hopefully I'm going to find one of those two, if not both. But a lot of good history with both of those cards, especially the Bush card. You know, 100 of those in a binder was issued to the president. And then who knows how many was issued after the fact. So there could be 200 made, 400 made, 150. It's really anybody's guess until we maybe someday uncover all of them. So here we go. 1990 Topps in the search for the no-name and the George Bush. Lots going on in the sports world. Everything from, you know, is Jason Kelce retiring? Is he not retiring? Lots happening. Looking forward to all the games, no matter what. No name Frank Thomas. Or a George Bush. You know, Topps was putting out numbered cards back in the 90s, and we didn't even, you know, before numbered cards were a thing, you could say. Ozzie Smith. I've been chewing on some of that gum since the last box of these we opened up. I dropped one and it busted on the floor like a brick. It's good stuff, you know. It still has its flavor. Again, I appreciate any comments, views that you leave me. Looking forward to them. Always trying to bring the best content. The most fun. Enjoy doing this. George Brett. That brings me to a point here real quick. So on the back of the box, or underneath of the boxes, they had cards. You know, like on some of the football boxes back in the day, they'd have cards in the bottom or whatever. And of course you could cut them out or whatever, but they were different than the card that you pulled in the packs. Just something neat. I always enjoy looking on the bottom of the boxes at those cards. Now, of course, most of them are extremely damaged from the boxes sliding around. Bo Jackson. And even if they were sealed up, it seems like they still got a lot of just damage or scuff marks. So it's really, really hard to get a card off the bottom of the box that was any gradable condition. Thought for a minute that pack had no gum. Oops. Would have been a bummer. Ozzie Smith again. John Smoltz. Eric Davis. Smoltz had the smolder going on back in the day. Another Nolan Ryan. Anyway, what I was saying, leave me some comments. If anybody out there has ever found a no-name Frank Thomas or George Bush, what you think the future is for Jason Kelce. Who's your favorite player to collect? What are some chase cards that you have been chasing since you was a kid up to now, or most recently? For Chillings. Frank Thomas. But again, he knows his name. Still a beautiful card either way you look at it. I don't know if you've seen those 2020 cards where the artist paint. Some of those in the Frank Thomas are absolutely amazing. I've got one where they added Bo Jackson in there with this guy, and it's hilarious and amazing all at the same time. So I don't know if that's a good sign. Pulling a Frank Thomas early on, does that mean there's another one somewhere to be had? Let's hope so. Bernie Williams. There's the commissioner. And he had a real short stint. Let's see. I didn't think he lasted a year. I'm trying to remember the story behind that. Mike Owen. Well, we made it through the card show in New Orleans. It was an excellent time. Met a lot of great people. Randy Johnson. Sold a lot of good stuff. And it was a small show. The big show is February 24th and 5th at the, I can never pronounce it, but Pronington Convention Center there in New Orleans. This one here was a smaller show, but nonetheless, it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. The best part, again, is always the people you run into, and the deals you make, the friends you make, and, you know, that's the best. Did a little trading, did a lot of selling. Now I usually only trade for Nolan Ryan, Joe Montana, maybe a Michael Jordan, and Pat Mahomes. And lo and behold, a kid had a really nice Joe Montana. We did a little trading, a little bartering, and I come away with it. And he got him the nice card that he wanted. So I think he probably walked away with a little more value as far as the terms of ROI and actual card-to-card value. But I came away with more value in the fact that I got a card that I liked and loved of my man Joe Montana than the card that you know, I traded up for, and that's part of this hobby. So it is going in my PC, and that's where it'll stay. You know, you trade away a card you're not Roger Clemens you're not attached to for a card that you are attached to. Because I know for a lot of people out there that just got into this hobby, even the kids, I can never touch on this enough, but they just all they can think about is return on investment. You know, who do I trade? How do I trade? And trade this and trade there, so I can sell and make a bunch of money. Like they're not even there's I feel like there's less collectors than there have ever been, and there's just more investors. To where my time, I grew up being a collector, still am a collector. And along the way, you know, some of the players that you collected turn out to be big names, and their cards become valuable. Then you're like, man, that's a bonus. Shoot, I got all these cards that are now worth a lot of money. So, you know, when I've sold them, you know, because I don't know, as a kid, I never once thought about how much is my card going to be worth someday. Then, you know, as I got older, clearly, you know, you get a little knowledge and stuff underneath your belt. And you're like, well, this card is going to have some value. You know, this guy's got a lot of potential. You watch him up in college, watch him get drafted. You know, like, I'm going to hang on to his rookie card, and we'll just see how it goes. But nowadays, it's like, oh, I'm going to buy of a kid that's got, you know, yeah, he's got some potential, but he has nothing proven. He's yet to be proven, and they're spending, you know, $500 to $1,000 on a card for an unproven person. I mean, I traded, cards here and there to get a guy I liked, but I still liked him. I can't recall a time until I was in my 20s that I sought out a player that I thought, well, someday he might be an investment, or would be an investment, or he's going to bring some return. Just as a kid, I'm like, man, I'm buying and trading for all the guys I like. And then, as I got older, I'm like, I could sell a few of those because I have so many at this point. But for the majority, most of them are still in a PC collection of mine. I got into dealing really just because I got so many. I'm like, yeah, of course, when you open, you get all these players you don't want, so you sell them off or trade them off to get the guys you do want. And it just works out. But I don't know. So many, all they care about is who's going to be the next big thing, and I can just strike it rich here. There's just no personal collection in their mindset whatsoever. It's a business, and it's fine for you guys that are of age, 18, whatever, older, and you're out trying to make a living in this world. And I'm not against a kid trying to make a living, but I made a living working on the farm, and I worked in a battery plant, and then I worked on a hog farm, and then construction, and my buddies, they mowed lawns. The kids used to have paper routes and mowed lawns and picked up leaves, and now kids are like, oh, I'm going to be a sports card investor. I don't know, just it's the new age of a job for a kid. But I don't know, for me it's a little sad, just because I think a kid should enjoy the hobby and the sport rather than just always constantly thinking, this is the money this card's going to make me. So, I don't know. My boy is always wanting to make money, and I told him, he's still really young. I said, just worry about being a kid. Sammy Sosa. Just enjoy life. Let me worry about making the money. And someday, when you get older, then by all means, we'll get you figured out. Get something figured out for you. Barry Bonds. Of course, they did the lemonade stand, which is fine. Kids do that. But, I don't know. Kids are just so serious about how can we make money off these cards. I'm just like, when are you going to take time to just enjoy it? I asked a kid at the last card show, I said, do you ever just sit around and look at your cards to, just enjoy them and admire them? Do you have any favorite players? And the kid literally is like, no, I don't have any favorite players. I look at my cards to watch their values. It's like, man, so it is what it is. But hopefully for you guys tuning into the channel here, you enjoy this hobby like I do. You can enjoy it in any which way you want. I'm not going to judge you either way. Just appreciate you tuning in. Leave me a comment. And maybe shed some light onto the whole investment side of it for me. If you guys have kids that are collecting and go to these shows and all they think about is how to make money, maybe I'm missing something. So, who doesn't like to make money? I like making money on my cards, but I also enjoyed, just enjoying them for 20 years without worrying about making money on them. And I still enjoy them. And this is why we do this. Some say you can't make any money opening packs. Not like you used to be able to. And I would agree with that probably 99%. just because there's this 1%, you can always hit that one big one somewhere out there, and you can make some money. Because for the most part, you make your money nowadays by just buying and then selling for a profit. You know, buy low somewhere and sell for a profit. But that's like almost anything in all sales, unless it's from the manufacturer. Oh, you know, buy right so you can sell right. Because from opening packs, you know, it's tough to make a profit. But in this case, you know, if we, Jose Canseco, first to do 40 of 40, still love that card. It's timeless for me. It's a shame his career ended and did what it did, but as always, I think I always say that every time I pull a Jose Canseco card. I probably will always say that. But, we're over halfway. But if you do it for fun, then opening packs and not making any money is all good. Because that is the fun of it. But in the case here, if I pulled the no-name Frank Thomas or George Bush, well, then it would ultimately pay for all these packs I have bought to open up. And if I never hit one, the enjoyment I got out of doing it and bringing it to you guys is all the value I would need. Bobby Witt. Not the Bobby Witt Jr. that's on the Royals of nowadays, but moving right along here, we are down to 6 packs of 1990 Topps. Searching for the no-name Frank Thomas and the George Bush. Man, it'd be great if we had an inside source from Topps back in the day that could confirm or just give a little, you know, insight on how many of the George Bushes are actually out there, how many Frank Thomases are out there, maybe a little more backstory on the the variations between the George Bushes. You know, did they make the 100 George Bush? And then, you know, as they say, it caught fire. And so Topps, of course, you know, they've been in the business to make money. So they're like, maybe we should do another print run on these babies. Four packs. Again, I asked this in the part one of this. This will be part two. Does anybody know if anybody's ever pulled the no-name Frank Thomas out of a complete set, or if it's always been out of a loose pack? Leave me a comment if you could, if anybody even knows of anybody that has pulled one. Because I personally do not. Two packs. Mark McGwire. To go along there with our Canseco, Bib Roberts, there's two of them in there this time. Billy Ripken, last pack, here we go. No luck. Thanks for tuning in. Sports Card Army, appreciate it. Look forward to those comments. Stay tuned, because we're going to be back at this real soon. Bye.